The receipt fluttered to the floor, landing face up on the polished tile. A single jagged line was drawn through the tip section, 0. A massive, insulting 0. The entire restaurant staff smirked as the billionaire walked out, leaving Sarah a struggling single mother with nothing but a dirty table to clean. Sarah felt the tears prick her eyes. She desperately needed that money for her 5-year-old son Leo's heart medication. But as she angrily snatched up the dinner plate, something thin and white slipped out from underneath the cold porcelain. It wasn't cash. It was a handwritten note with 7 words that would change her life forever. Sarah Miller's life was a battlefield. Working 12-hour shifts at Seattle's most pretentious French restaurant, her feet throbbed inside cheap non-slip shoes that sent a dull ache up her calves with every step. She was constantly barked at by her manager, Mr. Henderson, a man who hated her because she couldn't afford to laugh at his jokes or stay late for unpaid cleanup. She had to run to catch the last bus just to reach the babysitter before she was charged an extra hour. In her pocket, she carried a final notice from the pharmacy. Her son Leo had a congenital heart defect, and the new medication he needed by Friday cost $400. So far, she had made only $40 in tips. That's when Ethan Sterling, known as the Ice King of Seattle, walked in. He was a tech mogul known for his absolute ruthlessness. Other waitresses refused to serve him, claiming he never tipped and only lectured. Sarah had no choice. If she refused a table, Henderson would fire her on the spot. Ethan was handsome in a terrifying way, wearing a charcoal suit that cost more than Sarah's annual salary. His first demand was a power play. Room temperature sparkling water with the lemon rind removed to avoid bitterness. Throughout the meal, Ethan was a nightmare. He demanded pearl onion substitutions and sauce reduced for exactly 5 extra minutes, threatening Sarah's job when she hesitated. But the real blow came when he interrogated her about her life, calling her a charity case when she admitted she was working double shift to pay for Leo's medical needs. He told her that relying on the kindness of strangers was a poor strategy for success. Sarah, trembling with rage, told him she wasn't relying on luck, but on her own 2 hands. 10 minutes later, he was gone, leaving that cold, dark line through the tip section. But under the plate sat the note. Sarah, you claim you will do whatever it takes. Prove it. Be at the Pier 59 shipping warehouse at midnight. Come alone. Despite the danger, Sarah thought of Leo's wheezing breath and chose to go. At the warehouse, Ethan Sterling sat at a folding table. He hadn't brought her there to fire her. He brought her there for a test. He explained that his Ivy League executives were missing millions in losses in his logistics division, and he wanted her to find the error. Sarah, used to managing a household budget down to the last penny, saw what the auditors missed. She identified physical weight discrepancies in high-value shipments, all signed off by a supervisor named Marcus Thorne, Ethan's own brother-in-law. Ethan was stunned. He immediately wrote her a check for $200,000, enough to save Leo's life. Then, he offered her a job as his eyes and executive assistant, who would find the flaws in his multi-billion-dollar empire. Sarah's life transformed overnight, but her presence at Sterling Industries infuriated Ethan's fiancée, Veronica Vance. Veronica saw Sarah as a threat and a stray dog. At a high-stakes charity gala, Veronica tried to humiliate Sarah, but Sarah used her server skills to overhear a devastating secret. Veronica was planning a board vote to steal the chairmanship from Ethan. War broke out. Veronica framed Sarah for corporate espionage, using Sarah's login to send merger details to a competitor and wiring $50,000 to Sarah's account to make it look like a bribe. Ethan, blinded by a fear of betrayal, believed the lies and fired Sarah on the spot. He threw her out in the rain, telling her to pack her things or face arrest. But Sarah Miller didn't give up. She remembered that while digital tracks can be hidden, physical evidence is harder to fake. She tracked down a courier receipt proving Veronica had physically mailed a hard drive to the competitor weeks ago. She also found location data proving the bribe was authorized from Ethan's yacht where Veronica was staying. Not Sarah. Sarah stormed the boardroom just as the board was voting to remove. Ethan. She threw the evidence onto the mahogany table. When Ethan saw the courier receipt and the yacht's IP location, the truth hit him like a physical blow. Veronica was escorted out by security, her mask of perfection finally shattered. In the quiet of the empty boardroom, Ethan approached Sarah. He apologized for his blindness and pulled out the old receipt from the restaurant. He explained that he had left a 0 tip that night because a tip is for a servant, and he had realized Sarah was his equal. He didn't want an assistant. He wanted a partner. He offered her the position of coup and 50% of everything he owned. Sarah Miller turned a humiliating $0 tip into a multi-million-dollar empire, proving that value isn't defined by an apron, but by integrity and resilience. Today, she and Ethan run a foundation in Leo's name, ensuring no parent ever has to choose between rent and their child's life. If this story touched your heart, please smash that like button and subscribe for more incredible stories of karma and redemption.